Dottie, are we good?
Yes, we're good. Set to go, sir.
Thank you. So we'll call the meeting to order. And for roll call, we have Dave and Rob present here. Brian on Zoom, Steve on Zoom. I know that Nikki could not make it this evening. I didn't hear Larry,
I haven't heard.
see if he joins us, but there's four of us here. Which
Yeah, Larry told me he might not be able to make it.
Thank you, Brian. Okay, our first order of business is the election of officers with the change. I guess real quick, welcome, Brian. Glad to have
Thank
you.
you very much.
Yeah.
Thank
Welcome,
you.
Brian.
Dave, we're back together again.
Again.
Little bit of gap in between, but back again.
There seems to be a few of those gap years going there.
Yes.
So with that, first for chairman, are there any nominations?
I'd like to make a nomination, please.
Sorry, Steve, Dave had the floor.
Sure.
I'll nominate Rob Wirch.
I'll
I'll
second it.
second that.
Yep,
Was that Steve who did seconded?
that's fine.
Any further or any additional nominations for chair?
I'll make a motion to close nominations
Second
Second.
motion.
for chair.
Okay. Thank you, Brian. I don't know if it's a group vote or an individual.
Individual.
Individual?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll start with you, Dave.
Yes.
Thank you. Brian,
Yes,
Steve?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll vote yes to make it four, so we'll. Thank you all. I appreciate the nomination. I'm looking forward to the next 2 years. And I'll certainly do my best as I've tried the first 4 years that I've been on the board. So thank you for the vote of confidence there. Next would be vice chair, which is.
Rob, I think we actually need to vote on the.
that's right. Rob, that was a vote to close nominations for
Yeah.
chair.
So sorry.
No,
Thank you. So now we'll vote again now that we've closed nominations successfully. We'll move to vote for the chair.
Yes.
Dave, how do you vote?
yes,
Steve?
Yes.
Okay, and I'll vote yes as well. So it's 4-0. Thank you. Next, moving on to vice chair. I was a role that I had that would be vacated now. And I'd open the floor for any nominations for vice chair.
Dave, would you be open to vice chair?
No, thank
No.
you, Brian, but I'll be away in the next couple months.
Okay,
I'd like to open for Steve if he would be interested in that and for. vice
Yes,
chair.
it would be. Thank you very much.
all right. I will second that nomination.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Any additional nominations?
I'll make a motion to close nominations for vice chair.
I second.
Dave seconded. Dave, how do you vote to close the?
Yes.
Yes, Brian,
Yes,
Steve?
Yes.
Okay, and I'll vote yes, that'll close nominations. Now we'll vote for Steve as the nominated person for vice chair. Dave, how do you vote?
Yes.
Brian,
yes,
Steve?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes. Next up is the approval of the minutes. This was from October 19th, Board of Finance meeting minutes. Did everyone get the minutes, and are there any discussion or questions or modifications to the minutes?
I'll move. We approve them.
I had one sorry, Steve, I had one very minor but important, Dottie, on the part or under the Board of Finance, the financial item 7, where it says R. Word asked if last year's budget questions are being reviewed. I think that was actually the audit questions. So not major, but we were really referring to the audit at that point.
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make that motion, subject to your comments.
I'll second.
Steve's motion, Dave has seconded. All in favor of accepting the minutes, approving the minutes as received? Say aye.
Aye.
Yeah,
I will abstain because I was not there for that meeting.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Next up is correspondence. I know we all received just recently the report from Scott Antonson,
Mhm.
our new tax collector. Was there anything else? I don't recall,
Also from
but
Bill. We got a report from Bill.
uh, typical monthly report of the bill, yep. Any other correspondence? It's been a while since we've met. Okay. Next is citizens' comments. I guess we'll start in the room first. Are there any citizens with a comment? No comments from citizens in the room. Anyone online, any citizens' comments from those on the Zoom? Okay. We'll move on to selectmen's update. First selectman, Amy Salem.
Okay. Happy almost New Year, everybody. Hope everybody had a great holiday, and have great plans for this weekend. So just a few things. We did open up bids for the school security project that had been approved last year. The bid that was accepted came in at a total of $457,000, so it was under the 500,000 that we had projected, which was great. We opened up the school track bids. We had only received one bid, again attributing it to, we had to wait for the state to approve the bid documents because of the steep grant. So I think the delay in getting it out there, a lot of the contractors were already booked up. So we did receive one bid, but Brian Santos reviewed it quickly and said it was a good bid. So the building committee is reviewing that and they'll make their recommendation as to whether or not to award it to that contractor. In the coming month or two, we'll be going out to bid on the salt storage facility. That's really coming in at a good time. We recently had Connecticut Deep that did a surprise visit to the site. They were unhappy with the salt storage currently. So when I did inform them that we'd be building a new facility, an all self-contained facility, they were very much relieved and happy to hear that. So looking forward to that project getting underway as well. Contract negotiations for the town union should be commencing in the next month. So I'll keep you abreast to that. Back on December 18th, the town had a town meeting in which a tax lien transfer sale was approved for the 929 and 915 River Mill. So that's here on Riverside Drive. We know the big mill. And then consequently, the next day on December 19th, the Board of Selectmen did agree to enter into an abatement agreement for that same property with the developers, the River Mill Redevelopment LLC, aka John Gumper, the developer who's been working diligently to get that mill started and renovated. This time, that's all I have to report. Oh, I do have a note. I know that the Board of Selectmen did pass on the elevator repair. And unfortunately, when I gave the quote, I guess I can wait until we get to that, but the quote came in, the final official quote came in higher than I had anticipated. So I'm gonna have to pull that request and go back to the Board of Selectmen. I'm also trying to get 3 additional quotes. So that's probably gonna be off the table for the board to decide for this meeting. But I'll discuss more about that when we get to that.
Okay, thank you, thank you, Amy. Any questions for Amy?
No real question, but just a comment. I wanted to thank you for the presentation by, I guess it was Beta, about highway
yes.
repairs. I thought that was very informative. For all who got a chance to attend that, I think they learned a lot. I certainly did. So thank you for that.
Yeah, that was back in October, so I'd completely forgotten about that, but we are working directly with Beta Corp now. It's an engineering firm to help guide us and direct us on road management, pavement management. So we've fully entered in to a contract with them to continue their services.
Super. And Amy, on the salt storage facility, is it just restricted to that particular building, or is it the whole, there's some other work in the complex that has been discussed? Is that separate from the actual salt?
What do you mean the complex?
Well, the EMS, we're gonna put the EMS.
EMS,
Site
the
there.
plans for EMS are tentatively on hold, just because it was too much money.
Yeah.
We couldn't do both. So we're trying to figure out where we go from here with that. But because we have the pressure of Connecticut water and now deep, the salt storage and containing that is really pivotal. Not that EMS service isn't, but the original, the design came in at $2 million, and even when we scaled it back, it was another 1.5, I think it was, in order to do an adequate building to house EMS.
So a topic for another day. We have to
Yes.
do something
At some point,
long-term, we need an answer.
yeah,
May not
absolutely.
Need to be the $1 million or $2 million answer.
Mhm.
And then on the track bids, are you open to sharing where that one bid came, or are you not ready yet to, you didn't put the.
I would hold off only because for future negotiation purposes, should
That's-
they decide not to take this contractor,
That's fine.
we wouldn't want to divulge
That-
everything
that's
at this point.
Okay. Any other questions or?
Yeah, Rob, real quick, Amy, with the surprise inspection by the state, was it strictly for the salt shed, or did they do a inspection of the whole facility? And if they did they see any other areas of concern?
The whole facility, but there were no other areas of concern.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Brian. Anyone else? Next up is school district update, and I know Melinda was not available. I see that. Should we have an update with anyone? Okay. And we'll skip over that and we'll go to the financial update. Over to you.
Great. The trends that we had discussed at previous meetings, although we, it's been a while since we've met, have continued. Right now, property taxes are at 12 million collected, 58% of budget. Current taxes at 11.7, 59% of budget. Collection of prior year taxes at 216,000, 54% of budget. Interest in the liens coming along well at 108, 46% of budget. And as you guys know, the motor vehicle supplement hasn't been billed yet. State and federal grants continue to trickle in. The biggest component here is the education grant, and the second payment isn't due for a while. Local revenue, we're at 852,000, 89% of budget. And as discussed at prior meetings, the reason we're so ahead of schedule, 238,000 in reimbursement for the school gate project. Investment income once again continues to outpace the budget at 115,000 versus a $20,000 budget for the year. Expenses are hanging in there, 5.7 million, approximately 65% of the budget. I had mentioned in the past that town council duplicate encumbrance. It is some type of hiccup within encumbrances in Munis that we're working with them to get eliminated, but it is a duplicate. So the town council line will not be $20,000 over the budget. I didn't want to adjust it because that's what on the report, because that's what the system currently reflects. However, that duplicate encumbrance will come out. A couple other items, budget template preparation is moving right along. Anticipate sending it out to the department heads next week. I've changed up a little bit the working document that you'll remember the huge spreadsheet from last year. Hoping to change it up a little bit this year. It's going to look and feel a lot more like the budget book that you guys are familiar with seeing. So we'll be looking at one department at a time. The whole idea there is to have one product that the whole process flows through, and that budget book is being used as the budget template, which will then become the budget worksheet that we work through during the budget process. And then upon completion of the budget process, it's literally, in theory, hit print and there's your budget book. So it reduces the chance for human error in that we're working in one workbook throughout the whole process. Hopefully that results in an improvement. Quick audit update. The auditors have been fairly quiet since we last met. Except on the grant side, they've been working pretty diligently on the grant side, and I suspect that's because on the financial statement side, that's because they're looking through the field work at their other clients. So they did file the extension for January, which was expected. But I expect to start hearing from them probably next week or the week after. The last item I wanted to work into my comments is something I've been waiting to discuss with you guys for quite a while. It's actually been a full year. Last December, we discovered an opportunity to pursue some COVID-19 related reimbursement of funds. That process kicked off with a study of the spending that we had incurred on the town side and on the school side related to COVID-19 that we have not already been reimbursed for. On the town side, there was actually nothing. We actually had minimal COVID-19 expenses. So the attention turned to the school. In scrutinizing the records up there, we were able to find that we had some primarily custodial related and payroll expenses for custodian overruns, increased use of substitute custodians, and custodial overtime that were significantly over budget due to COVID-19 related efforts. We proceeded to quantify those efforts and with a lot of help from Paula down here at the town hall and Patrick up at the school. And I'm very pleased to report that although it took a whole year, we were able to obtain $204,000 for the town that has been received. That's what I've been waiting for. This has been pending for a while, but the bird wasn't in the hand yet. So I didn't want to make any announcements until we actually received the cash, and that cash came in this week. That money flows into the general fund and is available for use at your discretion. But once again, fantastic news and kudos to Paula and Patrick for helping out in this effort. It was really great. It was really great to see that come home to roost, to stick with the bird analogy, I guess.
Yes, Steve.
Could you update us, Bill? We have two major increases here to the undesignated fund balance. I assume the 238, which you reported on, and just this evening, the 204.
Yes, the 204 is not in these numbers because these are as of
Okay.
November.
Can you update us and give us a where we are in terms of the undesignated or unreserved
Right.
fund?
We would be at approximately $1.7 million, which is about 6.5% of the budget. You may recall, everyone, that the auditors had provided guidance that we should aim to be somewhere between 10 and 15%. This 6.5, if I remember correctly, is slightly better than we were the last time we had this discussion. There's really three things that are going to help that. We had $153,000 of state revenue sharing money that wasn't budgeted that came in this year. We had the $238,000 from the school security gate project, and then this $204,000.
That's
Those-
not in the one.
That's it's in the 1.7 has all three in it. I just did that quickly in my head.
Got it.
So those have helped us a little bit. We have a long way to go there. There's no
Yes.
doubt about it. But it was great to see those things come in. I think about the revenue sharing dollars from a budget perspective all the time, and I'm doing some more research on it, but everything I've found so far, and maybe you guys have some experience with this, there's no way to know or no way to forecast what is going to come in. So I'm reluctant to put it as a revenue item in the, unless I can get some more firm guidance from the state that, hey, maybe you can expect something similar to what you had last year. This is the second year in a row we've received it. However, I don't believe we received it for 3 or 4 or 5 years prior to that. So that's a tough one. I'll take it, but it's
Now,
tough to budget.
what is, the state is in their second year of budget, I believe.
Right.
And I don't believe they can increase the budget at all. They can play with it, but can't increase it. So can we assume that since we did receive it last year, that there's a good chance that it's in the budget for this year?
I'll do some more fishing around to see if I can get something
Okay.
more firm on that when because Amy and I will be developing the revenue projections for the budget process, which is built into the spreadsheets that I mentioned earlier.
Bill, I don't recall the guidance being that high, but I could be wrong. I honestly like more than 10%. You're saying their guys was 10 to 15%?
I thought it was.
Yes.
15.
Okay.
When I was on, and maybe Brian can confirm that, it was always, we were shooting for 10%.
Yeah,
And we usually were pretty close to it. I mean, we are a long way to
Maybe
go.
I'm thinking more.
yeah, I was gonna say 15% seemed very high, Dave. I
Oh,
agree.
yes, but I'm
It was
talking
right in there.
10%, Brian.
Yeah, right in there. Yeah,
We were around 10 most of
Yeah.
the time.
yeah.
Any questions for Bill from the group? But nice work on the COVID relief money. That's kind of paying back for expenses that have already happened.
Right.
And up to this point, much if not all of the COVID funding and support all came with restrictions and
Right.
and conditions. And this sounds like it's really a repayment of expenses from prior periods. So,
Right. Yeah, it was
Nice.
great news.
Thank you, Bill. Sure. Next up is item 9, the Turtle Lot Fund update.
Right, I'll take it, Rob. It's
Sure.
just a quick update on the balance. We're at $2,456,000, which is up about 3.5% from the last time we talked, but still pretty darn close to the floor. So from a budget perspective, right now, I wouldn't expect us having anything in there. For revenue coming in. And the corresponding, it's a wash, it comes in and out, but I think it'll be zeros again this year like it was, or next year like it was this year.
And that was as of,
That's end of November.
could be higher.
It could be
Yeah,
higher
you
now.
don't know where the market's.
Yeah,
Could be lower.
no, I would bet on it being quite
Healthy,
healthy, yeah.
well, from up to this point.
Up to,
I don't know what's gonna happen. come
up to
January.
today.
Yeah, right.
Okay, it's been quiet, but I think we have a meeting usually in February. A yearly meeting for the trustees.
Yes, yeah.
We'll have more to report in the future, but thank you for the financial update there. Okay, we'll move to new business. First up was the topic that Amy touched on briefly, which was the request for $40,000 for the town hall elevator repairs.
Can I give just a summary of what led us to this point?
Please.
Back in October, there was a call, middle of the night, fire alarm in the elevator control room. Again, I want to give a shout out to community fire department, Quinnebog and Thompson Hill all were on scene that night. The room was filled with some smoke, nothing like heavy or thick, but like a haze of smoke and heat. There was tons of heat coming off of the unit. What we determined had happened was back when the addition was put on and the elevator was added in 2010. The roof that covers the control room wasn't inspected properly at the time and was signed off on, and there was some flashing, I guess would be the right term, that was missing. Over time, water from rain started seeping through the roof and seeping into the control room. To completely shorted out the electrical control panel, water got into the hydraulic oil of the power unit of the elevator. Water and hydraulic oil does not mix and basically completely fried the power unit of the elevator. When I had called, we currently have a service contract with TK Elevator, and I had called them and they sent a service tech out just to quickly do an evaluation. That's when we determined that there was the roof leak. It was very obvious. And we determined that the electrical panel needed to be replaced. The service tech at that time told me that at the most it would be $30,000 for the unit. I had also received some quotes. John Noley, our assistant building official, had worked with me and we had gotten some quotes for the roof. And that was going to run about $2,700. The electrical panel was gonna be around $2,000. So I thought to myself, well, we'll add in another $5,000 to see, which would be $40,000. It took weeks to finally get TK Elevator out to have their inspectors and repair people give us an official quote, and the quote came in at $66,858. So I am reaching out. The elevator is a Schindler elevator, so I'm going to reach out to Schindler. They're in Massachusetts. I'm going to reach out to Otis Elevator and New England Elevator and have them all come on site and give me their best quotes. Hoping to do better than the 66,000, and I'm gonna have to go back to my Board of Selectmen and get approval to ask you for whatever it comes in at that point. I'm hoping it's closer to 40,000. So, but I'll take any questions that you might have.
The roof has not been
The
repaired?
roof has been repaired.
Has
since
been
then.
repaired,
Yes.
okay,
Yeah, and I haven't touched the electrical yet.
okay.
So, but, roof was repaired last Friday. During this past rain, John Noley, our assistant building official, came in, inspected it to make sure it was an adequate repair, and, it's good.
That's good. So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
yes, Steve.
Any chance for some insurance coverage?
I did check that. Unfortunately, there's a clause in our insurance policy that will cover leaks in roofs, like seepage. It's an actual clause that does not cover the seepage.
Repeated seepage. It's an exclusion.
It's what?
It's an exclusion. It's repeated seepage.
Yeah.
Anything over more than 14 days. And then there's also, you have an installation issue.
But I did check that roof.
It's a good question, Steve.
Yeah.
Any other questions regarding?
Amy, what's the lead time on some of this equipment? I know I'm running into problems. I have to wait 4 or 5 months for parts. Is this something that is available with the companies, or are we gonna have to have a long wait on
I don't
electrical
know, that
issues?
wasn't, once I received the quote the end of last week, I didn't even ask further questions, but I will keep that in mind
Yeah,
to find out.
And the elevator's not that old. I mean, it's not,
2010.
yeah, so. Well, it's not ancient. I mean, we
No.
should be able to get parts for it.
Right,
We'll
right.
see what happens.
But we still have access for the handicap,
Correct, on the second floor, but they have to drive around to the
Mhm.
second.
but we do have access.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll readdress this
Yes.
at the next meeting or the one thereafter. Thank you, Amy. The next topic on new business is 2024 BOS budget workshops, procedures, and I know, Bill, you wanted to share some thoughts there with us?
Yes,
Yeah, I'm gonna try to find.
Amy's gonna, for Steve and Brian, Amy's going to put up a proposed calendar, that shows a comparison to last year's actual budget calendar, to help guide the discussion. So as we came out of last year's budget process, I had kind of jotted down a few observations and a few ideas for potential process improvements. And one of the things that struck me as we were going through the early portion of the process was the amount of duplication between the information that was shared by the directors and outside agencies with the Board of Selectmen. And then that information being also needed for the Board of Finance discussions. In some instances, we had situations where either the directors weren't available for the Board of Finance meetings, and I think more often, the outside agencies weren't available either. Typically, Amy or I were able to come up with the answer, but there were quite a few instances where we had situations where we had to chase people down or whatnot. So what this proposal really focuses on is trying to improve the process and make it a bit more efficient and get the Board of Finance better, more complete information earlier in the process. Hopefully that will ripple through and save us time on the back end which would ultimately allow us, if needed, to have room to do another referendum prior to sending out the tax bills. As all of you, I'm sure, are aware, sending the tax bills out late causes a bit of a cash flow crunch for the town. So I think it's a more efficient process and one that buys us some availability on the back end for more referendums or additional time if needed. So in essence, if you look at the slide, the rectangle at the top is the proposed timeline for the FY 2025 process. The rectangle on the bottom is the actual FY 2024 process. So we would be starting the week of February 5th. This process would include joint Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance budget workshops, during which all of the directors and the outside agencies would present. That would include 4 meetings stretching over those 3 weeks. The next step would be the Board of Selectmen budget workshop, where they had scheduled 2 meetings to actually go through the budget and come up with their proposed cuts or additions. At that point, we have the town budget presentation, which has been scheduled for March 7th already. And then the Board of Finance budget workshops would commence right after that, with 4 meetings. And the idea there would be, hopefully, if you guys are, like this idea, you would be heading into your dedicated Board of Finance workshops with a set of notes of specific items that you wanted to discuss, potential cuts or additions. So rather than going department by department, obviously it's completely up to you guys how you run your meetings. But the thought was, hopefully, going by having joint meetings at the beginning of the process, we could start the Board of Finance discussions in a maybe more informed and targeted manner. Proceed through 4 meetings, obviously more if needed, which then gives us about a 4-week window before the town meeting on the 6th of May. Unfortunately, if you decide to proceed with this, I don't believe we can move that up this year because it's in the ordinance. However, if the process goes well, it's something that we could consider modifying the ordinance next year to say, instead of on the first Monday or Wednesday of May, it could be no later than the first Monday of May, which would then allow us to slide that forward in the process and gain that time back in case we did need additional referendums. If we don't, then we've managed to get through the budget process, hopefully a little more efficiently and quickly. So that's really the gist of the idea, and we just wanted to present it to the board for your consideration.
So in some ways, Bill, having the 6th locked in and this gap for this year, it really allows us expansion if things don't go as planned.
Right.
If they go as planned, then we have confidence going into next year that we can pull that in
Right,
earlier.
sure.
And right now, we currently have enough time to go through 2 referendums before we would be
Yes.
late.
Right.
And if I'm reading this correctly, you'd be able to do
We
3.
would be able to do 3.
Not that any of us want to do 3, we want to do 1, but it really protects kind of the cash flow
Right,
from getting those bills out.
exactly. That's as in my seat, obviously a major concern. In terms of the number of meetings, it actually reduces the number of meetings from 18 to 13. However, the number of meetings that each individual board member would go to is really not significantly changed. I think the Board of Selectmen goes from 8 to 6. And the Board of Finance, because you would be attending the joint sessions and your own sessions, are at 8, which actually, even though it felt like a lot more than 8 meetings last year, we checked minutes and we actually did 8 meetings last year. So we get to this, hopefully, if it works, tightens things up with no additional meetings.
Well, we've already scheduled additional meetings,
Right. Yes.
which you haven't noted.
No, this was to present I guess, I don't know, let's call it a best case, but at least a theoretical case of how this could play out.
So Bill, just to clarify, if we looked at the joint meetings initially, those three,
Four.
It's actually
four, sorry, there's four. And you talked about the budget binder of the book, right? The one version of the truth, right?
Right.
Like, so when that point ends, there's kind of, for the Board of Finance here, there's like a 3-week reset, right? Where now the Board of Selectmen are meeting.
Right,
So we'll see that, we'll leave with that book at the end of that first period, those 4 weeks, I call it. Board of Selectmen go to work, and then there'll be a revised book,
Correct.
and you'll confirming that there's kind of a question statement at the same time, maybe.
Sure.
That when we reconnect as a Board of Finance group, we'll have a jump off point where we ended, and then some tracker or something to bridge us
yes.
to like the new data where we are
Right.
today.
There'll be a column added, Board of Selectmen, I guess, changes or alterations,
Mhm.
that will get you to the Board of Finance's starting point.
Mhm.
And then your changes will be tracked going forward, similar to, this is exactly how we did it last year. Going forward, so which allows us to quickly go back and remember which meeting and who decided to make the change.
Yeah.
When we were revisiting some of the different cuts.
So
Bill-
in theory, to the Board of Finance only, we're kind of at a different starting point, because we've already been part of the
Right,
review process.
correct.
So the weeks that we take to kind of get up to speed, ask questions, to clarify that, in theory, that would be done by that point, and we could start work at a different starting.
The other thing I'd like to add is that we would be moving the timing of the Board of Selectmen meetings to, we had kicked around 6 o'clock at night. We would be doing it hybrid, so we would be here just like this, but it would also be on Zoom and recorded. So, obviously, those meetings have always been open to the public, they would continue to be. And they would be recorded so that if someone missed a meeting or if a citizen wanted to go back, they could hear the information direct from the directors.
Any questions or comments from Board of Finance?
Well, the reduced schedule looks good. I can't complain about that. I know in the past, the Board of Selectmen meetings have sometimes been during the day to accommodate town employees. So that will change a little bit. But I assume that's okay with the town side.
If the departments want their money.
I don't want to say it like that.
No, I think it's fair for the
Okay.
department heads to attend in the evening.
I would expect them,
Right.
even
exactly.
during our meetings.
Right,
I
yeah,
mean,
I agree.
in the past, We
Right.
always expected them to be present.
Yep.
Is that correct, Brian?
Absolutely, I agree. If we have questions, I want to hear it from them.
Right.
Just a quick, because I've been out of it for a little while. I make the assumption because of COVID and how our lives have changed, the budget workshops for the school are Zoom also?
Yep.
Okay. I won't be able to make all of, I looked at the schedule, I won't be able to make all of them in-house, but I would be able to do some Zoom there. I want to make sure that I at least Zoom on the ones I can't make. Thank you.
Yeah, that's been a major change, Brian, not only Zoom, but all the meetings are recorded.
I'm still old fashioned. I'm like Dave, show up if you can. So
Any other comments or questions?
no, I think it's a nice plan. Very nice.
Yeah, great thinking. Great thinking. Thank you.
I like it as well, Bill. I think it's very collaborative. It helps bring us in earlier. I kind of like the break. It's a bit of a, I think when I viewed it, it was like a bit of a marathon, but now it's like 2 half marathons, you know, with a 3-week break in the middle. I think it'll give us time to digest what we learned on the front end. And as we prepare for the heavy lifting that we do in those subsequent meetings. And I like the fact that that it protects us in the event that we haven't had a three timer in a while.
Right.
We did 2 last year, after 3 years of just single referendum, but it gives us that opportunity to really kind of protect the town and a bigger window of buffer if things do go wrong. Okay, why don't we, this is really just for discussion.
Well, it needs approval because it means a change in Board of Finance meetings. We need a new schedule.
So Dave, are you looking for a motion to change the schedule to be as it's presented today?
I don't see the harm in, go ahead, Amy.
Well, I think we need to add at least add the 4 meetings
Oh,
with the
first
Board of
four.
Selectmen.
You're right.
Yeah.
If you're assuming that the Board of Finance members are gonna be present,
Right, and it would be a joint meeting.
and I know at least 5,
Yeah.
I know 1 that won't be.
Yeah.
I'm fine with voting on, if you want to just vote on adding those 4, Dave, or we could.
I would,
make a
I
motion
would
to-
suggest that and
we could make
just
a motion to adjust
leave the
whole
others the
process.
way they are.
Right, yeah, agreed. That's what I was gonna say. The April ones
Not
we wanna
sure.
just keep,
Hmm.
because we don't know.
We don't
how
know
this is
when.
gonna work. But
We don't
he's-
need to cancel
Dave's
them?
completely right.
Well, we don't need to add
February
them, right?
ones.
Well, we got all these Tuesday meetings
Right.
as well that are scheduled in now.
For the back, at the very
But,
end.
but
We
for,
doubled up, that's right.
But the February ones should probably be,
we need to add those as joint meetings with the Board of Selectmen.
Okay, let's do that then.
Yeah.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion, we add the 4 meetings as shown for the month of February to our
The joint meetings, Steve.
joint meetings, that's correct.
I'll second it.
And Brian seconded the motion, so Dottie, the motion was to add the 4 joint BOF budget workshops. Discussion, further discussion on the topic?
I don't approve of it, but
You don't?
Dave, could you explain, so just understand?
well, I feel, maybe Brian feels the same way, that when we begin our meetings, usually you can define what areas we'll be discussing on a particular evening. And I believe that the first selectman could instruct whatever departments that we are dealing with to be present at our regular meeting. I think it's a duplicative process here. Because in actuality, the Board of Finance could make motions, since it's a joint meeting and a published meeting for a special purpose. Board of Finance during those special meetings could also make motions,
Mhm.
and I don't approve of that. I think I understand the purpose for educating the Board of Finance members as to the needs and wants of the community, but I think it's redundant.
Any other thoughts or comments, discussion?
So I guess I need clarification. I'm sorry. So Dave, so if we have these budget workshops between selectmen, excuse me, and Board of Finance,
Mhm.
are you saying that either side could make motions?
It's a published meeting, it's a special meeting to deal with the topic at that point in time.
Right.
You can't add to that agenda.
No.
But yes, and if, assuming you had a quorum of Board of Finance members present, they could act, since it is an official scheduled meeting with an official topic.
They could,
Yeah.
but the intention. that's
I
not the
understand.
Intention of the meeting, because
Yeah.
we wouldn't have had the presentation of the full budget by that point, so
No.
we'd still be.
No,
in
but
learning mode of what the wants and needs are.
I understand that, but the option is there.
So Dave, I'm sorry, are you afraid that we might make I'm not sure I understand your concern.
can I just say the Board of I know you just added, sorry, Steve, Mr. Chair, can I speak?
One second.
Okay, will it? Steve, speak.
I think, Steve, your question again?
I guess I'm, Dave, I didn't understand. Are you concerned or afraid that we might make a motion or take action at those meetings?
I think it's a redundant action on the part of the Board of Finance to, in fact, react at those meetings. But since they are scheduled special meetings of the Board of Finance, they could react and pass motions one way or the other with regard to the Board of Selectmen's budget. It opens up that possibility.
And if, Mr. Chair, if I can speak,
Yes.
Amy St. Ange, First Selectman. So when the Board of Selectmen, actually, I know you just added these and it just popped into my brain, we call it as a special meeting. So it's not on, these dates aren't actually on the Board of Selectmen's schedule yet. When we call it as a special meeting, it's really just budget workshop presentations. We take no action during these first 4 meetings. We don't, then when we do our 27th and 28th, we actually define on the agenda that to review, and we usually say that's where we actually review what's been presented to us. So it could be handled that way by the board. Yes, I mean, we don't plan on taking action. We get presented
I understand.
everybody's
understand
department
that, but-
budgets.
It is an official meeting.
Suzanne?
This is present, could I speak?
Yes, Suzanne.
This gets presented to the town once the Board of Selectmen are done and the Board of Education. Is there anything in the ordinance that prevents the Board of Finance from making cuts at a meeting prior to the town presentation, the town meeting, the town hearing? No,
No,
I don't think so.
okay, I'm just questioning them.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Not that I know of.
no, I just go back to my 27 years on inland wetlands. And when we called a site meeting, it was a noted meeting with a specific agenda. And if we had a quorum, there were many times that we did in fact pass a motion on site, which was sufficient to help the parties involved. You can do it.
I
I'm just
would
saying,
hope
I
that
don't agree
we
with
did
it.
I would hope that if we did take a motion, if we did decide to act on something, was because we thought it was the right thing to do.
Yeah, I think, so. I guess it could be redundant, Dave. I guess if I look back, I got 4 years. You got some people sitting at this table that have a lot more than 4 years. I've done 4 cycles. Rinse and repeat of the first 3 to 4 meetings is the same. And not a lot gets done because we have a lot of questions and we're learning what's happening. We're learning what the asks are about. They get clarified. Sometimes the department heads are there. Sometimes they're there all night and we don't get to their topic. A whole another night. I mean, I get that they need to be present, but sometimes it feels almost a little bit, way above and beyond. That they go several nights in a row and their topic doesn't come up. So I guess my thought was that if we can get to the 14th and we're actually starting to dig into the meat of the numbers and the meat of where we feel like we need to make adjustments, then we're way further ahead than normally where it takes 3 or 4 cycles to get up to speed.
I just expressed my personal feelings.
Any other comments or discussion points?
I'm more confused than ever now because, so we're adding 4 special meetings, but then I apologize, I'm new, so the presenter of this, it's saying we're losing 4 meetings, we're gonna be done sooner. Did I interpret that right?
Yeah,
Correct. Yes. Board of Finance members, if you look at the top rectangle,
Yes,
meetings in gray in the first and fourth row are the meetings that, under this model, the Board of Finance members would attend. That's 8 meetings, which actually is equivalent, if you look at the gray row down below, from last year, they were at 8 specific Board of Finance meetings. It really just changes the timing of those meetings.
Brian, I don't know if you've received a schedule of meetings for this year. But if you note on it, for example, Board of Finance meetings in March, we March 7, 14, 21, and 28, similar
Yeah.
to what we have in front of us. But also April 2nd, 9th, 16th, 23rd, on Tuesday, and then on Thursdays, the 4th, the 11th, the 18th, and the 25th. These are all scheduled meetings, making them regular meetings of the Board of
Well,
Finance.
Well, damn, if we can't get this done way before that, we got
Well,
problems.
that, I agree. But these are already scheduled meetings.
You know,
But my experience, Brian, is that, you know, the work expands to fill the time that's allotted. And we wind up doing 80% of the work in the final 20% of the time allotted. That's just the nature of it. That's what happens. And
80% of the work will happen on the 28th and the 4th. If we are looking at the 4th as our final meeting, which I don't think it will be.
you know,
I think we are looking forward to a very difficult year, so knowing all that's gonna happen this year.
one of the options we have, Dave, and the full team is much like on the current schedule, on the back weeks, we double up if we need it. We don't
Mhm.
always use it. We do the Tuesday, Thursday. Here, we could do 326, 328, 4-2, 4-4.
Mhm.
If we feel like after 321, we're not where we need to be, you know, then we'd have to really get done by the 4th, we'd have to double up then, or
I don't
For this
see, I don't
year-
see us finishing at the 4th, this is what I'm saying. And really, that's not a critical issue because the town meeting is on the 6th of May. It's not a critical issue. It's not critical to finish on the 4th
this year, that's right.
this year.
If we do, and we move the May 6th meeting up in the next year, then it becomes there's more pressure. Yeah.
Yeah,
there's more pressure.
if we use open terminology as Bill suggested. He mentioned the first Monday or earlier as an ordinance suggestion, but in that circumstance, yes, we could gain time.
Yep.
But it doesn't make a difference this year. I mean, even if we have 2, 3, or 4 referendums,
That's correct,
we're locked in on the 6th of May.
right.
Well, this sure seems like it gives us an opportunity to accelerate the process, and if it works out, a great pathway forward. So I think it's worth a try.
Okay, well, we have an open motion and we're discussing it. Is there any further discussion? Or are we ready to vote?
Has there been a motion?
well, just one more before we vote, and I'm not trying to be difficult at all. I am kind of torn between both. I'm old school like Dave, all right? And from being on the selectman side and first selectman and Board of Finance side, that goes back, but it's been that way. And I'm also open to if something new can help us out. I guess my question is on this Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance on the 7th, 13th, 19th, 22nd. I guess what is the goal there? Board of Selectmen are going to present to the Board of Finance at that point?
I'll explain it.
No, Brian, the goal of those meetings would be actually exactly as it is for the Board of Selectmen right now. It's to hear each of the presentations from the directors and also from the outside agencies. For example, Teague comes and speaks.
Yeah, okay.
Among others. The Board of Selectmen gathers their information. They ask a bunch of questions. And frankly, they take notes at that point. Once those meetings are concluded, those next 2 meetings in the row down, the blue box there,
Yeah,
that's
Yeah.
when the pen comes out and they start to make cuts or additions. And that would continue. The whole idea here is to have both boards benefit from hearing those presentations on the first pass. So the Board of Finance
So-
members could take notes also.
So do you think it's necessary for 4 days, 4 meetings worth of those two, the Selectmen Board of Finance to hear from department heads and other entities, Teague and so forth?
I
You
think
think-
so, based on how Rob's been through 4, I've only been through 1, but last year, I think we actually had maybe 5 days. However, that was because the meetings were somewhat briefer. And the idea this year, at least as Amy and I had discussed, would be that there would be a set slate of directors and outside agencies that would attend the entire meeting. So they would be in the meeting until they were done with their presentation. In the past, we had a lot of kind of fits and starts in those meetings when we might finish early with someone, but the next person hadn't logged in yet. So the idea to make them more efficient would be to have everybody on site the whole time. I suppose they could bow out once they're done with their
Correct.
individual meeting, but.
No.
So then that would help ensure that everybody had a chance to speak and that all the members of both boards heard from everyone.
And so then we won't have these people show up on are you saying on the 14th, 21st, 28th, and 4th? Or are they gonna be asked to attend again?
I would hope that they would be here because I certainly
agree,
plan
Dave.
to have some questions.
I think, Brian, I think you can guarantee, I mean, there's certain departments, emergency management, for instance. Their budget hardly ever changes, it's really minute. But the bigger departments, Joe from Public Works, maybe planning and development, the library. Those department heads generally show up anyways, because their budgets are a little more crucial, a little bit more prone for cuts. So I think you can definitely guarantee seeing the department heads during those 4 meetings. Who you might not see is maybe outside agencies. You're not gonna potentially see NDDH again, hanging out for Board of Finance meetings. You won't see most likely. And those are both agencies that give good presentations. NECOG comes to the Board of Selectmen meeting and they give a presentation. So those are some agencies that you wouldn't see. They
All right,
won't.
so listen, I don't want to beat the horse here. Change is good every once in a while. I'm old school like Dave. I understand what Dave's saying, and I tend to agree with Dave on that. But if we want to try this for this year and see how this works, I would ask that then we keep this open going into next year. And if we find that really isn't the way to go, that this isn't going to be a permanent schedule, you know, I'm more than willing to try a change, you know, and let's see how it works. And if we find that it really didn't, then you know, we'll go back to the old way.
Brian, if I can just comment on that. I think for me, if we add 4 meetings in February and we still find ourselves here through the end of April, I'll gladly go back the old way with you.
All right, okay, now, yeah.
It's gotta work, you know.
Listen, I
It's gotta work,
understand.
or we've tried something and we didn't get the expected results, so.
Yeah, well, I guess then, you know, let's give it a try. That's all. But I'm old school.
Any other comments or discussion? We still have an open motion, so we'll move to vote. Dave,
No,
Steve,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes,
and I'll vote yes. It'll pass 3-1. Okay, there's no old business. Then we'll move to Board of Finance member comments. Is there any Board of Finance member comments? Steve,
Well, first of all, welcome to our new member. And if Nikki was here, I would offer that as well to her. And then, of course, some important numbers. 124, 11 and 17. The 124th Army Navy Classic was held this month. Navy got 11, Army got 17 points and won.
Right.
Army Navy.
Oh.
You didn't know.
Steve, we were waiting for that. I knew that was coming.
Well, I look forward to serving. Been out of the game for a little while, but I thought this was a good opportunity to get back into it. So I look forward to working with everybody. And I know Dave and I have had some bantering over the years, so I look forward to that again too.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Dave. Between you and Larry, I don't know who I'm more excited to banter with.
I don't know if you see where he is, but you're looking right at him, Brian. Right at Dan. I don't have anything to add. Just looking forward to kicking off the new season. I wish everybody a happy new year.
Thank you.
We'll be back in January.
All right. Actually, I've mellowed a little bit, Dave. You know, I'm getting too old.
I have too. A little,
A little.
not much.
Uh,
Hopefully I'll see you in February,
Yes, okay.
depending on traffic.
Yeah.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Adjourned at 8:02.
All right, everybody have a good New Year's.
Happy New Year to you as well.